The publican's life is one of themes. Themes dictated by times of year, recent budget and VAT hikes and national holidays. Such themes can be a choice and even a gamble on the part of the publican, but mostly are a necessary evil, as in the case of the latter examples, to comply with the state-governed schedule of who your customers are to be and what prices you are going to charge them. Yet, despite having borne witness to countless years of these recycled themes, it never ceases to amaze me the speed and complete willingness of acceptance you all have in succumbing. That was until this year, back in mid-January. As we removed the hypnotic twinkling lights and faux greenery of our Christmas-themed displays, designed specifically to entice you into feeling festive enough to part with more of your hard-earned cash in exchange for our mulled versions of your favourite drinks, my mind was already planning the next cynical theme to grab your attentions. It was then that I was hit with an emotion which had become almost completely alien to me, a sudden twang of nostalgic longing for the real feeling of the merry atmosphere my decorations were attempting to emulate. Perhaps I'd stood up too quickly whilst unplugging the chained fairy lights, or maybe the intoxicating waxy fumes of our criminally overpriced and tragically underused rotting Christmas tree had gone to my head, but at that instant I was transported back to the last time I truly felt the Christmas spirit, as it were. Those late teenage years, before the grinding drudgery of this workaday life had truly encrusted me into the cynical husk of today, when nights out with friends were endless adventures as far as we could travel and could last as long as we cared, an entire world away from the chance meetings and huddled, bitter politics I seem to be embroiled within now. I remembered back then being able to walk into a public house, even a department store or supermarket, without visibly shuddering with contempt at the gaudy displays of glittering baubles and forced festiveness. Could it have been, all those years ago, I actually felt like one of you? A mere customer? I suppose it's possible. In a universe of infinite possibilities, anything could be, and so I formulated a plan to break the repetitive, cynical cycle that had perpetuated my approach to enticing customers. This year it would be different, I promised myself. This year I would wear my heart on my sleeve and truly get into the spirit of the various themes I had scheduled. After the inevitable January lull where making any form of profit is nigh on impossible these days, the next big event was to be Valentine's Day. Now, normally Valentine's is a time to play on the guilt of men who ignore their relationship duties 364 days of the year and make up for it by treating their significant others to a lavish display of affection through candlelit meals and expensive cocktails. Well, not this time. This Valentine's Day I made every effort to create a loving, heartfelt atmosphere of true emotions of which any man would have been proud to include his loved one. No gaudy decorations or the forced croonings of Michael Bublé tunes masking hiked up drinks prices and misleading meal promotions. Just real vibes, real music and real prices set within an environment where the entire staff exuded real feelings of actual love, happiness and willingness to serve you whilst you wooed your lovers. And thus, with all the preparations set out and the staff pep talked into sharing my heartfelt approach to making your day truly special, I opened the doors and waited for you all to come pouring in. And I waited. And I waited. The afternoon rolled into the evening and I kept the spirits high, convincing myself and the staff that it was only a matter of time before you came rushing in your droves to our pub that honestly and sincerely wanted to help you get laid that night. And we waited some more. Eventually, unable to bear the crippling emptiness, I took to the streets to see what the other pubs were doing so right that we weren't. But they were empty as well. It wasn't until I reached further up Church Street that my heart sank as I saw where you had all decided to spend the most romantic day of the year. Nando's. Fucking Nando's. The walls were bursting at the seams and there was an honest-to-God queue stretching almost to the florist with you bastards queuing up for cut-price chicken, like kettled rioters performing your own form of mass protest against the years of subjugation perpetuated by myself and other publicans. Breathing a tragic sigh of defeat, I returned to my lair, sent most of the staff home and poured myself a double scotch on the rocks. The victim of my own cynical approach to selling all of these years, I was left alone with a bruised and battered sense of being betrayed, like a jilted polygamist on the day of his wedding to his chosen harem. Ah well, back to the drawing board. I've still got loads of plans for the rest of the year. I hope I can still order enough green dye for St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy!